Delius breathed heavily, starting to feel exhausted. This fight was taking its toll, and with each one of the energies he used in these staggering amounts, the exhaustion began to build, feeling as if it were stacking. As he took his last deep breath and began to focus. Okay, only 2 more left, Delius said, as he began to summon the yellow energy, feeling it course around him, rushing in, beginning to overtake his form as a brilliant yellow light shined out from him. And all at once he bolted at the All-Force, moving as fast as he could directly at him. As the All-Force began to prepare for the attack, suddenly Delius ducked low, arcing under the All-Force with a massive uphook from underneath the All-Force. An explosion of yellow light burst out. An enormous wake, a shock wave, rippled across the surface of the entire star. As the force was so immense, it was like a giant yellow spear propelled itself out of the star, and at the end of it, the All-Force, flying at breakneck speed back towards the planet where all of it began. As the yellow energy finally began to die down around Delius, seeing the All-Force flying towards that planet, he braced himself low, kicking off as hard as he could and beginning to fly in that direction, tearing himself away from the gravitational pull of the star and rocketing towards him, following the All-Force as he streaked down towards the world, shattering into its surface and landing on one of the broken fragments and an explosion that nearly sundered it, one of the largest fragments left, sending spider fractures, dividing it into several pieces as the All-Force stood back up. Well, that's one hit for Delius, he said as Delius himself landed with a cataclysmic smash, fracturing that piece of world even more. Still, the arcs of rainbow light and outflows of lava that seemed to pour in massive streams, defying what remained of the gravity of this world, flowing through the sky as if it were nothing. As Delius stood back to his feet, breathing exceptionally heavily, trying as best he could to stabilize it. Well, Delius, the next energy, yellow. This energy is mostly associated with light itself, like the light from a star to a planet that gives warmth and light to it. It is in fact the most common radiance of light within the spectrum of light, physically associated with light itself, the energy. But in terms of the mind and the soul, yellow is most akin to joy, happiness, frivolity, and enthusiasm. Those that wield this energy are of the most positive of natures. One who sees the bright side in everything, who maintains a smile even in utter darkness, who even in darkness, their joy will become the light that shines on those around them. But this also is not your energy. Oh, isn't that great? Well, I think we've worked our way through the entire list, excluding one, which means my energy is the last of them. Correct, Delius. Your energy is the orange energy. Elementally, it is most tied to Earth, the most stable of elements. This is its strength, stability. It does not overburn, nor can it easily be washed away. Strong enough to bear a burden, yet malleable enough to change when it needs to. Spiritually and mentally, it is most connected with those of a balanced mindset who possess the greatest capacity for remaining calm. They are the ground, the earth, that holds steady all life upon it, that pulls people into their gravitational wake and nurtures them there. The mountain that remains still even in the fiercest of hurricanes. Even if pieces crumble and break away, the mountain itself will not yield. So too do the people who possess this unique energy, possess strength to weather incredible things, to protect that which they hold most dear. It is most akin to the desire to protect. It is for that reason that men build walls of it, a manifestation of their belief in the strength of stone and earth. Truly, to wield the yellow energy, you must be joyful. So to wield the orange energy, you must possess the capacity to wish to protect. As a world protects and nurtures all those who live upon it by drawing in life, giving nutrients to plants, which then feed animals and produce the air that all things that sustain on that world breathe. Those who possess the orange energy will protect not only what they value most, but seek to do so with all life. They value it all equally. Such is their nature, the nature of one who protects and nurtures and saves all under the protective blanket of their strength. Just as a world protects the life that lives upon it with the protective blanket of the atmosphere produced by the living organisms that live and breathe upon it, the water it holds to its surface, the warmth that it holds within it. Just as earth becomes whatever it needs to be, so too do those who possess the orange energy become what they need to be in order to protect those around them. This is the power that belongs to you, Delius, to the Savior. Oh, ain't that nice? You giving me all these little lessons. Yes, they are. Nice little lessons, Delius. However, these are only the beginning. There is still far more for you to learn. Once again, this is just to guide you and all the others that stand here with me now, he said as he looked over to see Jax and Regimen floating there watching the conflict. You are all important pieces in this game, this forward movement, this hope, this desire, this will to protect. The All Four said as it looked between them, as it said each one of those statements, finally falling back to Delius. Now, Delius, let your power be unveiled. Fine, Delius replied. If it's a party you want, I might as well indulge, he said as he began to focus once more, trying to draw in the necessary energy, focusing as hard as he could on trying to draw as much of the orange energy as possible. And as he did, he began to notice bits of stone and earth tearing themselves away around him, and then seeming to vanish altogether, dissipating into an array of orange sparks that flowed in towards his form. The harder he concentrated, the larger the fragments became. The more of the world seemed to be consumed by it, as more and more of it broke, tearing itself away, rushing in as sparks towards its location, until eventually it was a maelstrom, a complete and utter wash of orange sparks from all directions, as the entire planet seemed to be consumed by it, like being drawn into a black hole, except the black hole was a vibrant bead of orange light. Everything, the magma, the earth, the core, it all seemed to dissipate into these orange sparks, spiraling down to the finite point of concentrated orange light that was Delius, until finally the light began to subside. As it did, revealing Delius's form once again, and his form had once again drastically changed. Before, Delius felt as if there were a limitation to the amount of energy that he could take in. But with this orange energy, the limitations seemed far greater. In fact, by concentrating solely on taking in the orange energy, it felt as if he were able to take in more than twice the amount that he was when he was pulling in a mixture of all of the energies before he felt like he was reaching his limit. And as Delius opened his eyes, beginning to overlook himself, there Delius stood. His skin had turned a vibrant, shimmering gold, like it was forged of gold, as if he were wearing golden armor over every inch of his body. Underneath these bits of armor peered out vibrant rainbow light. As Delius wore this armored suit of gold that encompassed his being, his hair still protruding from the back of the armor, now a lift, glowing a vibrant golden light, and from behind him, protruding massive, feathery, golden wings, seemed to be made of pure golden radiant light that shimmered down golden sparkles as the wings flapped and furled gently. And there it is, the manifestation of your own energy in full status, the true form of the protector, the savior. You see, when one truly learns to tap into their own unique energy at the utmost limits, then so too do the limits of how much they can take truly change, and what can become of you afterwards. Just as earth and stone changes and becomes whatever it needs to be, so too has your form changed, like refining golden ore, which occurs naturally within the worlds, down to its purest concentration. You have refined yourself to gold. Such is the status of your power, able to break down earth and matter into the pure energy that all things are eventually reduced to, the pure orange energy, becoming a reflection of the will of your soul, the All-Force said as it stared at Delius. It is always impressive to see. Yours is different from the others, but this is to be expected. I really do wish that I had more time, but our lesson has come to an end. You have mastered what you need to up to this point, and thus our confrontation needs come to an end. This will be our final confrontation, Delius. No second chances, no new moves. We'll finish it with a single attack. So show me, Delius, what you are truly made of, the All-Force said, as Delius's eyes focused on him. Now, his eyes glowed a brilliant gold as they peered out at the All-Force. And outside of the iris, in the segment of his eyes that was normally white, there you found the rainbow light behind it, glowing dully behind the gold that took center stage. Fine then, Delius said, as he once again took a combat stance, arcing back his arm as he began to focus everything he could into a single punch, clenching his fists tightly as the armor that surrounded the exterior of his body seemed to pulsate, rippling. The energy, the vibrant gold waves that flowed through it, seeming to find their focus within his arm as the golden glow increased, and shock waves rang out into space, golden waves of energy that pulsated out like an ever-growing golden sphere of light, as more and more of the golden energy focused down into Delius's fist, the pulses getting larger and larger, spreading farther and farther out into space, golden shimmers and sparks flying from his arm as it seemed to strike up, catching into a golden radiant fire, as it seemed the armor around him almost seemed to melt into golden radiant light that flowed into the arm, until all that remained were the golden wings protruding from his back, and that arm, a blinding torrent of golden light and fire, a golden fire that looked as if it came from the gods themselves. As Delius lunged forward, a streak of golden light behind him, a long tail of golden whipping flame, and shimmering golden feathers tearing themselves away from the spectral golden wings left in his wake as he bolted towards the All-Force, and the All-Force himself reeling back with a single punch, his arm, in but an instant, seeming to pull light from all directions. Red, green, blue, yellow, orange. All of them seeming to stream down to his arm, connecting back into massive, all-consuming streams that stretched out into the universe itself, the infinite threads appearing visible as an endless spectrum of them stretched out to everything in the universe, consuming everything that you could see behind him, as images flashed in it of events scattered throughout everything, tiny fragments of lives, people smiling and feeling joyous, holding their children, swimming on beaches, as well as people running in terror, fire raining from skies, people huddled in fear, studying at desks, and even people on battlefields fighting. A spectrum of sights scattered across the universe, of countless races, worlds, spinning nebulas and stars as far as the eye could see, the entire universe flowing into one arm as Delius and the All-Force struck out, their fists colliding in an explosion of rainbow light and golden aura that doled everything out. A flash of near infinite light that seemed to shatter the universe itself. As Jax and Regimen finally began to see the light die down, uncovering their eyes, they stood once again in an empty white space, with rainbow light streaming in all directions, and there stood the All-Force, alone. Well, it appears Delius's turn is over.